times of sharing during ASEAN.
ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Good morning, this is Arlene.
Hi, welcome back. This is Grace.
And of course, you are with us on our ASEAN Daily. So today is Thursday. There's another one more day before we have the Bersih 4.0 in Malaysia, and there are a few other areas that they will be holding Bersih worldwide, globally as well as in Malaysia. I think it will be in Kuala Lumpur, KK, and Kota, and also Kuching.
Well, there are a lot of updates and also sort of viral posts going around of Bersih 4.0, and it's not only from Malaysia, like you mentioned. It's going worldwide. Especially from the Facebook, there are lots of groups that they have created to support the Bersih 4.0 from the lots of countries from East Asia, from European countries, from the countries that you have never expected. They have been showing their support, and I guess that's because the Malaysians are living there as well, so they do care about what country is going about. So they have created their group to support. But however, on the other hand, there is also anti-Bersih 4.0 groups going on. So they were asked to wear red, and the Bersih is for yellow. So a lot of sort of a rumor and also humors are also just spreading out nowadays.
And because of that, police are advising the public to stay away from Bersih 4.0. This is according to Dang Wangi Police Chief Zainul Sama. He said that anyone participating in the rally does not meet the requirement under the Peaceful Assembly Act 2012 and risk being arrested, which is kind of an irony because who actually determine whether a rally is peaceful or lawful or not? Because on the other hand, there are lawyers from the Bersih sides. Of course, they say that the assembly is lawful and is in line with the Peaceful Assembly Act. So at the end of the day, I think it's up to individuals if they believe in certain causes that Bersih is promoting, and they should go for it.
Well, a Bersih movement supposed to go for a peaceful movement because they want to deliver the messages to the government for clean elections. However, it is very irony to have a sort of combination of the mixture of feelings when it comes to Bersih 4.0, and then just a few weeks ago we had a sort of controversial issues when it comes to 1MDB. So a lot of mixed feedbacks from the audience that Bersih 4.0, perhaps we should include the controversial issue to this movement as well.
That's true.
And then we never know how the movement will turn out for sure. But according to the police chief that you mentioned, that they whoever does not meet this requirement under this act will be being arrested. But then this is also very vague statement that was made by him. So we have to draw a clear line. Where is the peaceful movement and where is the voice of expression from the public?
It's hard to make an arrest when you have maybe you will be expecting probably more than 100,000 people participating. I mean, you already the organizer already have 35,000 t-shirts sold out, and they are planning to sell another 6,000 before closing the counter, and it shows that if there are about 50,000 people with the t-shirt, you can imagine if they plus people without the t-shirt, it would be at least 100,000 at least. This is like a very humble number from us.
So we get to know all about all this movement, whether a lot of people will get arrested or it will be a peaceful. But so far, just the assumption so far, there will be more people than the 3.0 for sure, and that there are lots of cautions that have been made to the public, and also the roads will be closed in certain areas.
And Duran ASEAN definitely will be covering the Bersih 4.0 on the ground, and we'll be interviewing people. We'll be trying to gather all the different sentiments that we can gather on the ground during the Bersih rally on this Saturday. At the same time, I want to move on to another country. So, there's an update about the Bangkok bomb blast. Under pressure to solve Bangkok bomb attack, police have resolved to interview driver.
And then they questioned a taxi driver who may have been driven the main suspect away from the area of the last week, which was around the Shrine area in Bangkok. And then there was a broken security cameras along the chief suspect's getaway route, and also because of the lack of sophisticated equipment that has hampered the investigation into the August 17th blast that killed around 20 people, and also more than half of them were foreigners. So the main evidence that police have for the blast at the Hindu Erwan shrine popular is the very still not confirmed. It's not still clear yet. It was they were suspecting just from the grainy security camera footage so far.
I see. So that's very hard, and the nationality of the person is still questionable. It can be, it can be any Asian or it can be Caucasian. The guy is like multi-ethnic.
Yeah, but apparently more assumptions are created that it could be from America. It could be just a rumor or just a story that have been created by certain group. But then just throughout the social media and then articles that have been released, or even the people just in the mouth-to-mouth rumors, they've been saying that it could be from America.
Yeah. And unfortunately, because of that, they are interviewing drivers, and this is due to the fact that their trail has gone cold in the hunt for the bomber. They were unsure who is the main suspect, and anyone, like we said just now, anyone can be, even an American can do such harm. So that's the problem. But I think the bigger criticism that Thailand has received, especially among Thai citizens, is the government is not equipped enough in terms of technology and skills and knowledge in the to do such high-tech investigation, because this is no longer just about knowledge of terrorism. It's also knowledge about technology, about better skills to investigate such crime.
Well, this is also one of the rare cases that happen in Thailand, and bomb blast in Bangkok especially. So for sure they were not ready to go, take a step further when it comes to investigations. But it is very necessary now that they've realized that there will be more possibility in Bangkok, even other areas in Thailand. So they have to really prepared for the future, and also need to be able to prevent what will be coming for the near future in the next few months, or they really need to study even harder to find out who the main guy was behind all this.
True. And on the other news about Thailand as well is Thailand managed to destroy 2 tons of illegal ivory. Finally, there's something that Thailand can do, which is to ensure that illegal markets for elephants' ivory is being curbed. And they are doing a great job destroying 2.15 tons of confiscated elephant ivory on Wednesday in a ceremony presided over by the Prime Minister.
Well, this is pretty positive news coming from the Thailand, and of course 2 tons of illegal ivory, and that those ivories are from the elephants. It is illegal activity, and then Prime Minister, he called for the country to clean up its act on this illegal wildlife trade, and it's promised to have a heavy punishment for those who violate this law. So this is something that Thailand is moving forward when it comes to animal prevention, and also when it comes to illegal trafficking from perhaps the African countries to Thailand, because those ivories are used for many purposes, such as decorations, even health medicine. They just sell all those elements to buyers at really high price.
That's true. And and I mean there's a aesthetic value for this as well. The reason is, according to Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, elephants are Thailand's national symbol and under threat from poaching and trade. I totally agree with him. I think the spiritual as well as national symbol for Thailand, when it comes to elephant, definitely needs to be preserved. But on the other hand, they also get a lot of praises from the international community. For example, John Scallon, Secretary General of the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, he praised the clear progress made by the Thai government, which is crucial.
Well, it is very critical that all those efforts needs to be sustained after this, because you never know, just because once they were stopped by the government and also destroyed, doesn't mean that they will not repeat these activities. So need to put more eyes on it, and also the government really needs to make it strict when it comes to this wildlife trade.
Yeah, and we'll take one short break. When we return, we'll talk about other countries when it comes to politics and economy.
ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Good morning, this is Arlene.
Welcome back, this is Grace.
So, on our other side of the world, I'm talking about the Philippines actually. So why Aquino finds it tough to clean up notoriously corrupt Customs Bureau? I think a lot of Southeast Asian governments are trying to eradicate corruption, but it's not easy, you know. It's not like just firing people. It's the whole structure and system that you need to adjust.
That's very true. And there's a plan to pry open and tax the millions of balikan, if that's how it's pronounced, which is homecoming boxes, which was sent by millions of Filipinos abroad to their loved ones. That has been backfired, and further exposing the institutionalized corruption of this Bureau of Customs, which is also called BOC. So this there are a lot of angers coming, and also different reactions are coming from the social media, calling for the plan to tax goods which was sent by this OFW's cheap and insensitive and suicidal, which is for the Aquino's government.
So OFW stands for Overseas Foreign Workers, I suppose. And in a change of heart, early this week, is President Benigno Aquino III has instructed the BOC to stop the physical inspection of balikbayan boxes of overseas Filipino workers unless X-rays and K9 examinations show that they may contain contraband items such as drugs, guns, and gun parts, watches, and parts of high-end vehicle. If a suspected box must be physically inspected by BOC, and Aquino said that it should request that an overseas worker welfare administration representative or a designated officer of an OFW or Overseas Filipino Workers Association be present with provisions for CCTV and to monitor of the inspection area.
And well, this is quite this can be quite serious, because he is at the state to find out, and then it is quite hard to clean up all those corrupt custom bureau at the moment, and all these employees who violate these protocols and engage in these activities will be prosecuted and punished. And this has been announced by Aquino instructions already. But it is a matter how they are going to educate the public in the better manner, rather than just pushing them. I mean, having the punishment and the prosecution is okay. I mean, it goes to the very extreme part. But then my question here is, will you really stop and clean up all this notorious corruption here at the Custom Bureau?
And this involves very, very, intense change of culture, working culture. So you want to change a corrupt institution. I won't say corrupt, but an institution that has always been relying on corruption method to do their job. I think to change the culture takes both soft power and hard power at the same time. On the other hand, talking about hard power, we are just zooming out and looking at the South China Sea. So US is planning more Asia-Pacific drills to counter China reclamation. This is never ending.
Well, between the US and China, that's always the tension that has been building up. But when it comes to South China Sea, it's another matter that is always lying between these two countries. And the USA plans to increase the number of military and humanitarian drills in the conduct in the Asia Pacific as a part of the new strategy to counter China's rapid expansion in South China Sea. Well, this is very true. We have been commenting and reporting when it comes to how China is forcefully building a lot of buildings in South China Sea just to mark their territory there. And then US has warned them several times before, but now because China doesn't seem to listen what other countries have been advising, now US is sort of going in the forceful manner to have a new strategy to face the China's activities at the moment.
And apparently Colonial Restituto Padilla, a military spokesman, told journalists that reports outline Washington's set of action in the disputed South China Sea and East Asia Sea, focusing on the protection of freedom of seas, deterring conflict and coercion, and promoting adherence to international law. You know, the irony thing is the US never even signed the international law for the freedom of seas, but they are trying to impose their moral value towards China, which is, to me, is a bit of a double standard here. Like, you are not following the rules, you are not signing it, but you are forcing China to sign it and follow the rules. And on the other hand, I also question the US motive in this. I think definitely China and Southeast Asia need to resolve this ASAP, but the US seems to have their own personal agenda. At least from this piece of news, they seem to be seeing China as a threat that they need to, reduce it by having more drills.
Perhaps it is another way of showing the power the U.S. holds towards China, because definitely it looks very clear that China has been expanding their territory in South China Sea. And then, like we mentioned before, no matter how many times U.S. has been warning them, they don't just simply listen to them. So it is perhaps the time the U.S. wants to really overcome, this sort of the block that has been created between China and USA. But they also, at the same time, you could be right there, they may have their own personal agenda behind all this, why they are stepping into this South China Sea matters.
And on the other hand, I also want to highlight that, the US might be using the wrong kind of foreign policy towards China. I think they are seeing China as like a pseudo Soviet in a case. Right. Because couple of decades ago, of course, the US can use the foreign policy when they are countering communism, where everything is like black and white.
Right.
They're very, very well defined. But I think the current society right now is very different. So you cannot use like the hawk strategy. You cannot just, everything is about like counter attack and hard policies. It has to be soft. It has to be based on diplomacy, based on multilateral or bilateral negotiation. There's a lot of other means that the US could have used if it really intends to have peace in Southeast Asia. On the other hand, talking about peace and change. So we all know that Singapore's election is kick-starting now. and the election will, the campaign is kick-starting now, but the election will be soon, very soon, on September 11.
Well, we've been talking about this one as well when it comes to Singaporeans' elections and how the Singaporean elections system has been set to public, and which is pretty fair. But then now the Singapore is really looking for a proper leader in the country, because Singapore has its own reputation, its own image to other nations, especially neighboring countries. So this is a show of strength and unity. And then after they observed that the voters want the united front for the opposition parties. This is according to the People's Power Party (PPP), and then. There are 5 opposition parties got together, which was just a few days ago evening, to launch this badge emblazoned with the phrase "Vote for Change." So they are really looking for a change in the nation itself, and the people are also seem to be supporting the movement as well.
Except for Workers' Party, because they did not respond to the call of go by the PPP. But you know what is interesting? That was being highlighted is about curry. Not in terms of whether the Singaporean love curry or not. Is people on the ground are really angry, not because of jobs, but cultural differences between local and foreigners. They are actually imposing their cultural behavior on Singaporean. I mean. On towards the foreigners. Like, for example, Singaporeans do not like curry, but curry is Singapore's national dish, and they complain and have to make the point about this. So in a way, this is a lot of cultural differences that Singaporeans need to resolve and somehow create an identity that is more cosmopolitan and multicultural.
Well, that is true. Well, after all, I mean, the cultural differences applies to every single Southeast Asia countries apparently, and Singapore is a very small nation where there are perhaps the cultural differences are more highlighted there. But if you don't like it, you have to have a proper reason and a constructive reason to why you don't like that particular food or particular culture. So people there perhaps they need to change or develop their mindset when it comes to nationalism of Singapore.
That's true. Anyway, we'll take one short break. When we return, we will go to the economic and social cultural side of Southeast Asia.
ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hey, this is Arlene.
Welcome back, this is Grace.
So on our economic news, we want to put a focus on Timor Leste. So apparently Indonesia is going to participate to develop Timor Leste's infrastructure.
This is very good news because, but this is quite funny because Indonesia is also having sort of poor infrastructure, but then they are participating in developing Timor Leste's infrastructure. So I guess they need to look at the both sides when it comes to this infrastructure side. And President Jokowi has stated that Indonesia is always committed to participating, especially in the development of infrastructure in Timor-Leste. And Timor-Leste have been always wanting to join ASEAN as 11th member, and that Indonesia has been supporting pretty well towards their ideas. And definitely this is a good news that they will encourage the investment between these two countries. And this is according to the joint press conference with Timor-Leste Prime Minister Ri Mariadet Arajo on Wednesday, was just yesterday.
I'm so glad that Indonesia and Timor-Leste are having really close bonded relationship.
Yep.
I mean, just a decade ago they were in fighting, civil war.
Yeah.
But now both countries are or will be discussing the settlement of the northern sea borders before the southern sea borders. So all the best between Timor-Leste and Indonesia. Hopefully more infrastructure development will create better relationship and more trade between the two countries.
Yep.
On the other hand, on the social cultural side, do you like Krispy Kreme?
Yeah, I don't mind actually. I do sometimes eat it.
I don't know, I still love Big Apple, but the great news in Myanmar is Krispy Kreme. It will be opening 10 more shops.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So Myanmar is really opening up to have more investment from different countries and to have a more brand shops in Myanmar. And Krispy today, they announced that it will sign a development agreement with this donor group PTE, and also to open 10 shops that you mentioned in Myanmar in the next 5 years. Well, it is a good news to the Burmese there. Is that they will get to have donuts and a different kinds of flavor as well.
Well, apparently the popular original glazed donut will be, I guess, something that they hope the Myanmar people would enjoy it. And I actually like the original glazed donut. But to be honest, especially in an era where people are getting a lot of, diseases like diabetes, I try to cut down on my sweet tooth.
Well, it is very global company, and then it is good that Myanmar is accepting, and perhaps it's a time that Myanmar is opening up, especially when it's having the transition period from military group to democratic system.
Yeah, from a business point of view, I agree with you. It's a good thing for Myanmar. Maybe from the health point of view, I kind of question, like, maybe, we need to be more have a more healthy lifestyle.
I think you're very concerned about your health.
So on the other hand, talking about having a common goal for ASEAN, one of the suggestions is to have a common driving license.
Well, I wonder what would common driving license look like, to be honest. Well, this having the driving license that will be valid in each the 10 member countries. This is another good news, just like how we have ASEAN Pass in the international airports. And this gives sort of the privilege to all the Southeast Asian countries, especially ASEAN members, to have their own identity and to feel that they are part of ASEAN. And just like this license will be all for the citizen of ASEAN countries, and it will be international standard license at ASEAN level. And then Indonesia, the document will be bilingual and in Bahasa Indonesia and English as well. So it is good that people get to converse and learn in both languages,
that's
not only in
amazing.
English. Yeah.
That's amazing. But talking about driving license, even if there is a common driving license, I would not want to drive on the streets of Jakarta. There's too many cars and it's just so scary.
Exactly. But my question here is, some countries are dominated by British, some are influenced by Americans.
Oh yeah, that's
so the road
also another
direction.
true.
Yeah, the road direction, I'm just questioning that. Even if you have the ASEAN level license, will they be able to switch left to right and right to left?
Maybe you have to take 2 schools. The left school or the right school. So anyway, that's all from us today. Thanks for listening to our radio show Durian ASEAN.
And then look for us at we have social media channels such as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and YouTube and Twitter. Yes, to follow us on our social media. Visit us, our website, durianasian.com.
Thank you.